We're getting our chickens in a row this week's episode of the Indie Ball Report podcast. All right, we're back. Episode number 361 of the Indie Ball Report podcast, a show that is for the people, but not by the people. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Okay.
It's not by
I don't know how to take that.
I mean, we produce this for the people, but like they don't really have much of an impact on
they get the Q&A episode and that's it. Oh, you're allowed.
Exactly. So you gotta throw the peasants a tournament every now and then to keep them in line. That way they don't realize that you just burned their village down and stole their labor.
Could I interest you in gladiatorial events?
Perhaps a circus is more your fancy, sir.
Oh, man. I guess I get it. I can see where you're going with this. I don't know if they agree, but it's your pod, so whatever.
Well, we'll take one great leap forward here by discussing and rebrand today, finances, an all-star game that was announced months ago, and then talking a little ball to wrap it up. That sound good?
Yucking some ball. Let's do it.
All right. Let's hope we don't throw out UCL doing this. So,
don't speak into existence. Nursing this baby.
They say if you stare at the pitching rubber and say Tommy John 3 times, he comes up and slits your elbow.
Just spin in circles, dude. Don't get me started. My anxiety is so high. You know what's funny? Like, I am also experienced enough to know that like the elbow pain I'm feeling, like the arm and shoulder pain I'm feeling is like not anything to be concerned about. Cause like it literally, the moment I'm stretched out, I'm fine. And it's literally just, it's getting more work in and being tired and whatever else. And I know what damage feels like and it's not that, but my brain is still just like, or it's over. And I'm like, well, sure be nice if it wasn't.
It's not Tommy John. It's thoracic outlet.
Oh, God. Maybe I'll get a rib to take home.
Anything's possible at Chili's.
Man, I could have some ribs.
So you want baby bag? So what you're saying is you want those baby bags while a big strong man stretches you out?
Ew.
Well, you phrase it like that.
Look, we should carry on.
Yeah, let's talk about some chicken.
Nobody knows chicken like chicken. What do we got?
We got Yuba Sutter. They've rebranded themselves as the Freebirds. They are no longer the High Wheelers. They will have a logo that is essentially a chicken in some aviator attire, mainly the headwear, the goggles, the hat. Y'all know the standard deal. And it's encased in a circle with some fancy lines through it. Very modern branding, if you would. Their mascot's going to be called Willie the Wild Chicken. That's kind of cool. It's part of a more family-friendly rebrand. And in case you're wondering the significance of a chicken for this area, apparently there is a lot of wild chickens that have roamed the city of Yuba. So,
what a place to be.
I do question the decision to essentially go, the San Diego chicken? Yeah, let's do that, but make it all of it.
I just question also like not teasing this at all. They just did it, which is weird. Like it's not going to do a brand rollout, I guess, but whatever.
Well, settle, Ryan. You don't want to be too critical of them now.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I have mixed feelings on this. Should I say my positive or my negative first?
Go negative. We're critical here.
I really liked the High Wheelers. That was fun. It was cool.
It was good. It was different.
It was unique. It was different. I loved the logo. It was fun. I need to get my hand on that merch immediately now. Like I need it. I need to call in a favor or two. So that bothers me. On the other side, I understand Yuba Sutter High Wheelers was a mouthful. Not that it's shortened that much. Let's be real here. And at the same time, I also know the High Wheeler thing was directly attached to YOLO and Yolo County. So that's also difficult because it's just not, it's the Utah Jazz all of a sudden. You know what I mean? They just kept the name, even though it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's the Lakers.
Also, I was gonna say Lakers are the other one.
Yeah. So I understand that. It's a shame that it happened to a good brand. If Yolo ever gets on their team, it'd be nice. When it comes to it, I also love, as someone who self-identifies as white trash, I love anything Freebird related. So that's a vibe. They should all have there should be every game, an air guitar solo battle in the field, to the solo and Freebird. I think that'd be fun. I don't know. The jerseys are cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of like them, although the different colored sleeves a little weird, but I do like the striping diagonal across there. The feather makes me feel like it. The feather genuinely does remind me from a distance of the Chili's logo.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing, but I do like it being a little bit different while still being kind of clean. More of honestly,
the left is cool. I don't know. There's cool details.
It kind of gives me kind of like an NBA jersey type vibe.
I guess my final take is I like it. And in fact, I don't dislike anything about it except for the rollout. It's just that I do mourn the loss of the High Wheelers. I think it was a very good brand. And I thought it was good. There's a reason that if you recall, I kind of almost nailed it when they were talking about it, because I was like, oh, the penny farthings would be a good one.
Yeah.
And I think that's not to be like, haha, and I really like my own ideas or whatever. It's just that I think it was a clear and obvious, very good idea. So, it made sense that I came up with it and the team came up with it too. I don't think people gave me some credit for that. And I was like, I think that wasn't a deep pull. I think that was the obvious way to go. And I just think it was a good brand, and it's a shame to see it potentially end like that. Very unceremoniously too, which sucks. It wasn't like a final season of it or something, which I get. It only had 2 years, but still, that's probably me. And I get new ownership wanting to sort of do their own thing, but I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna just pull up 2 comparisons real quich, but whilst I'm doing that, I will give thoughts here. Yeah, some general thoughts on my end here is I think it's fine. It's a fine logo. It's the branding's whatever. I'm kind of like with you. I didn't think it was in need of a brand refresh. I thought it was still pretty much fine as is. So don't really know why we're doing this now, unless we're going to say things are worse than we previously thought. And this is their desperate attempt to try and raise money in a cheap and easy way, which, fair play, but maybe not the route I would have went. Likewise, I will say, now looking at this, it does kind of remind me of another team's logo from affiliated. And that team, of course, would be the Fredericksburg Nationals. There's a lot of inspiration from that.
Oh, God.
Because I was looking at the F, and I was like, I've seen this somewhere before.
That's rough.
And then if we want to really go ahead...
That's what the Nationals get for taking the Walgreens logo.
And then the other one...
Turnabout is fair play.
Yeah, and then there's another logo in there, too, that has some inspiration as well on the F. If you look at the Reading F, it looks kind of similar.
Wow, that went over my head too, and I own multiple articles of clothing with that.
Yeah,
I drive by the stadium once a week.
Yeah, I get it's an F. There's only so much you could really do with it to make it different. But I do encourage everybody here. When you get a second, hell, I may even put it on Twitter.
Yep.
Look at all 3 of these logos next to each other, and it's there's similarities here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wish we could have done a little bit more there. I still do like the logo. Let me get that straight. I do like it, but it's just,
with the circle, I like that they also have the tricolor line diagonal
through it. So.
I think, by the way, jerseys are one thing, but I think it'd be a cool jersey as well if you get that going. I might be in there. I might be in that merch store. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Which, by the way, if you want to buy High Wheelers merchandise, it is no longer available on the website. So you're gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, it is kind of an interesting rebrand. I'm more pushing the rollout. We were just talking about this, and it's just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
there was no teaser for it. Unless there was, I don't know, that I missed. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
an
I'm pretty
idiot.
plugged in, so that way.
I know, for better or worse, man. For whatever that's doing to my mental health. I don't. Are we kind of moving on this topic?
Yeah, I'm kind of done here. I mean, like, I appreciate that they, didn't just roll out some slop, and they actually went ahead and produced something of value. It's just, I think it's similar to some other things that already exist, so I don't love that from a branding perspective. I think from an SEO perspective, it's fine. I don't think you're going to get, Freebird Baseball or Yuba Freebird be fine. I assume there's a reason they have to do Yuba Sutter and they can't just do Yuba or Sutter.
I will say I'm going to change topics real quick, but it's related because I was about to threaten to make an anonymous report of something against the ownership group if I don't get my hands on High Wheeler merch. I will follow up on last week's conversation. There was an owner in the files.
Oh?
Mr. Katzimatitis.
Oh, dear.
However, for the most part, it does appear to just be campaign emails, though it's interesting to see that they had Epstein on the roll on the email list is interesting. Lots of Katzimatitis for mayor. And also reference to his podcast deal with Curtis Sliwa. Fun.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where I land on this Freebirds experiment. The last point I will make on it, though, is at some point, I need to see a team that's playing them either come out to Southern Man or call themselves the Southern Men for a day.
Qua?
Are you not familiar with
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't make that connection right away. I was still thinking of is that a California reference? How could that be? No, obviously got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, Neil Young. So, all right. So why don't we move on and talk about Lincoln's All-Star Game, which we knew about from the Fargo All-Star Game was announced there, but formal announcement with a logo. Link in the show notes if you want that. Show notes on the website, indiebarreport.com. There you go. Link is going to host the All-Star Game 13th of July through the 15th of July. Going to have a luncheon on the 13th, home run derby skills comp thing on the 14th, game on the 15th, standard fare. You guys know what to expect from that. First time they're going to get an All-Star Game since 2003. I'm sure we talked about this when it was, came out the first time around, but slowly we'll rehash it real quickly. You always like to see the 24 time in a row Field of the Year winners, getting their due.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing for Lincoln, but we already knew about this information. I guess it's just good to remind everybody, question mark? I never know. They kind of, the American Association likes to do that, don't they? Like to do it's happening here. Like, I think they said this back at the All-Star break, and then just now they're like, by the way. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm with you.
I mean, I like that they formally, gave us all the information on it.
I get
but
it.
We
Launch
all
the
know
ticket sale push. I understand.
Yeah. I just want to point out something here. But yeah, so Link is getting an All-Star Game.
How about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like All-Star Games going to places that are, oh God, there's no way to say it. I was gonna say less fortunate. That's not what I mean. Just
critical of thoughts.
If put one in Kansas City, and it's like, yeah, okay, like that's like one of your little teacher's pets or whatever. I like them going. Oh, they just put one in Windy City, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that more than putting it at the bell of the ball. You know what I mean?
I will go ahead and I will counter with this. Is this punishment for look, none of the successful teams want this, so you're going to eat this one? Or is this, we're trying to help you out by giving you this showcase?
That's a good question. Could go either way. I think I am also, while I do think it's common knowledge amongst many owners, All-Star Games losing proposition. For some of them, it's a feather in their cap. And for some owners, they feel like they're the ones who can make it work.
And here's the thing too, just kind of discount the less fortunate sons theory there. Mm-hmm. Frontier League doesn't always do that. They did it for Windy City, but they also went Quebec and Tri-City too. So they're,
Yeah, I feel that.
Remember where they went, and they had New York the merger year or year before the merger in 19. So they're fine there. Obviously nothing in 20. Obviously nothing in 21. Who had it in 22? 2022 wasn't the Windy City year, was it? Because I know
I
25
thought Windy
was
City was last year.
no.
No, I'm sorry, no, 2 years ago then.
It was Tri City, Quebec before that, and I think
Oh
Windy
my
City in
God, Quebec was
23.
2 years ago. I was in Tri-City. That's right. It's all run together now.
Yeah.
So that's oh God.
Then Windy City was 23. Who the hell had 22? Washington. Okay, so 3 of their 4 were
Right.
successful teams.
Yeah.
So they kind of break the trend. The Atlantic League has moved on from that, which
I know.
may be a good idea.
Maybe. I hate to admit it, but maybe. I don't.
Broken clock theory.
I just I still see there's value in it. There's a way to pull it off. Mid-season tournament? I don't know.
Potentially, but who wants to pay for that?
Cool people.
The best people. Alrighty. Quick piece of staffing news. We're going to move through it quickly because, frankly, it's a kind of a weird thing to announce, but I guess it's more like for business relations reasons. The York Revolution have a CFO.
Yep.
Ken Picotti, Sr., going to be named the first CFO of the club, I should say. He's been added to manage, quote, rising costs and invest in the future. Relatively local. Been the air since either, I think it was 2012 when I got further down the article, but at least 2015. Hiring happened the end of January, just getting to it now. Shows the importance level of it. I think it's just more interesting here that now with the rise of private equity in the league and with those discussions happening around the league, that they are looking to raise more revenue, period, now. I think that's more of the interesting theory.
Yeah.
Raising revenue is going to be the title of this episode.
I was really hoping you weren't about to kick that my way. Congrats to Ken.
I'm going to leave the pause in, by the way.
Like, you know what I think. I mean,
that's not very big business of you, Ryan.
Everybody wants to act like they're the big dog, or they're some sort of MLB adjacent thing, or they're, operating the way these teams do it, like the big team. I just don't put out a press release for a CFO, bud.
I mean, again, I assume this is not targeted towards us. This is targeted towards, people that are trying to get into the.
I know. But like, there's a way to go about that. I don't know. It just feels strange. I cringed when I was like, oh, that's okay. Oh, right. That's what we're doing. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't want to be super freaking negative. It's just like, what are we doing? I don't know. Sorry. I feel weird about it. I feel weird about the whole situation. I'm just like a little confused, I guess, on what it is we're accomplishing. I'm not even confused. I don't know. I know what we're accomplishing. We're trying to, this is directly expressing to business partners and potential business partners. Sure, fine, whatever. I'm so jaded on a bunch of the business stuff right now. I'm just like, okay, man. Not everything needs to be an announcement. I guess that's my main thing.
Fair enough. I'm just going to throw out the other end of, do you think there's any sort of financial implication from this, either future or current status?
Maybe. So here's my takeaway. And I'm trying to see how much I can put out there. Screw it. I'll go bed. Anytime I hear talk from within York's organization, and I am aware that I'm speaking about a 2-time defending champion of the league here, I hear rumbling that not everything is smooth, right? And I do find it interesting that Ben Shipley, with Shipley's increased role in the club, is bringing in his own guy as the CFO. Mm-hmm. Because someone was acting CFO, whether it was the title or not. They're like, it's the first CFO in team history. Okay, well, someone was doing the books, sure. And it makes me wonder how concerning it is behind the scenes. There's 2 ways this could be. Oh, was this worse than we thought behind the scenes? And it's to the point where he's like, I need to bring in my own guy. Or was it fine behind the scenes and now he's bringing his own guy and that should be a red flag? As in he feels the need to bring his own people in here. Maybe you shouldn't be needing to do that. Whatever.
The pushback I would give to that is, could it also be a situation where it's a dynamic situation has now evolved beyond the capacities of the guy that's currently in the role, or we need to hire a guy that will handle this separately because the dude that's been doing this job in the past can't juggle all the responsibilities now, so we got to start separating stuff.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That feels, I would say, more or less, there's not much to read into here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give something other than I don't know that this should have been a press release, because that's not how good content works. I just don't have a lot
trash of being a garbage org. That can't.
Well, I mean, mentioning the fact that, boy, do they seem to have a lot of players living in the same house a lot of the time, is, I think, notable, and their families. That's the only thing I'd point to.
That's for team bonding, Ryan. Please. That's how you grow tight as a team.
It's the only thing I would point to. And boy, do I have something for you when we are off the record on this pod.
Oh, I'm excited now.
I think I've discovered a new walk-up song for me. So I think it's great.
I'm excited now.
Excellent.
All right, then why don't we talk a little bit of ball before we close the show? It's going to be a quick pod this week, but that'll happen every now and then.
Hey, man, we're getting gassed up for some preview work coming soon. Right around the corner, baby.
Preview work? That's the other thing I meant to talk to you about before we started, was figuring out how we're going to do the extremely late but always on brand 2025 review.
Barely. I don't know. Yeah, we'll schedule that out. I have some thoughts on how I want to do it on my own pod, and maybe if you don't want to do it, then I'll do it on mine, or if you want to do it, we'll just tag
all right. Once we get done, we'll talk about it. So we just got a couple of guys that we've seen sign over the last week or so that we want to talk about here. I'm not sure. Do you want to take lead on it, or do you want me to throw one of my guys out? Do you throw one of your guys out and we go back and forth, something like that?
Let's see. What league is most of yours sort of? I know we have one in common at least. So maybe I'll end with that, and then that way you can lead in with that, and we'll sort of do a handoff. So I was a little over the board. I try, if I'm honest, to pick kind of if you're wondering what my approach is, because it's easy to just pick headliners all the time. I try to, when I can, pick at least one random transaction. Like literally just 10 transactions happened this week. Random number generator, which one do we get? And see if there's anything to say. And sometimes it's like, well, these guys won't make the cut. I picked up 2 signings that I'm interested in from Tri-City. One is a right-handed reliever, Michael Riley. He caught my eye on Baseball Reference. I haven't seen him pitch, in person or in video or anything like that, but because he really struggled in D2 ball and summer ball. And I was like, kind of the point where it's like, is this guy cooked like 7 ERA in, I think, summer league after a 5 or 6 ERA in D2. And then he goes to Cal State Fullerton.
All right.
And got some like good results. Like I think an ERA in the low 3s potentially. I'll pull the numbers back up here, but it just sort of caught my eye more. And to get fully into it, I mean, so yeah, it was a 770 ERA in the Northwoods League. It was a 490 ERA in the illustrious Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference before that, and then a 307 ERA for Cal State Fullerton in 44 innings of relief. And that's impressive. My concern is only 5 strikeouts per 9, and that's in the Big West. That's 2.3 walks per 9. Did not give up many home runs, which is good, but he's given up home runs elsewhere. I'm only flagging him. I don't think that he is maybe the best fit for the Frontier League. I was a little surprised to see him go to Tri-City. He's definitely a depth play, and maybe there is something there, but I'm not overly confident. But it stuck out to me though, because even if it doesn't translate, I'm interested to see that he could be a guy going back west into the Pioneer League. I think he'd fit really well there and maybe have the opportunity to grow and really, he seems to have the ability to develop. And
Fullerton's Bay Area, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there is a Bay Area team or two that
right. I'm surprised he can go to Cali. I'm surprised about a couple things. So try to see picking him up. Maybe they can deal him out of spring training, even if they don't love the vibe, or give him a few shots out there.
I feel like he's at least worth giving him a shot early in the year.
Right.
You just use him as a
I'm usually on board with that too. I found it interesting because I think it's a good move as a guy who, even if it doesn't pan out, you can probably move him for something. So that's something to keep an eye on. One more in the Tri-City vein. I got Arlo, and I'm going to take a shot at this. I got Marinchak as the last name, I think.
Yeah, I remember him for a few years now. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got, I think, 2 years. He's had 2 years already.
Yeah, he's not a bad pitcher.
He's interesting because he went 62 innings for Tri-City last year, 11 starts. He had a 3.05 ERA. Now his peripherals are should not be that good, like a mid-4 ERA type guy. That's what he looks like if you don't see the end result. So it indicates he won't keep that up. And if I had to predict it, I'd say he's a mid-4 ERA guy, maybe a 4 starter probably. But I also would have said that after 2024 when he had a good year, and he actually improved on that in 2025. So I don't know. He might just have it working, and he's found his own way to survive lineups, and he does well. And he's
recollection of him is that his thing is that he's oft injured. That's what I remember seeing from a lot of their roster updates. He would constantly be an IL guy. So I think that's part of it, which I think is also why you see him, they want him as a starter, clearly by the inning usage and everything. Mm-hmm. But he winds up being more of a reliever, I think, as a result of that. Now, that's less so the case last year. He really was the starter. 12 and 11 versus 22 and 10 the year before, and he's as a starter coming out of Siena. So it is what it is there. But I do agree. I think he's an interesting guy. I think he's working. I think it's more to your last point there, where he's just finding ways to work around things. He's also only just turned 26 in the beginning of the month. So, literally 1st of February. But I think there's enough there on this arm. The miles aren't there. I like him personally. It's like a 3-4 starter for them. If that's what he can give you. I think it better as a 4, just because, like you said, he's kind of outperforming metrics. And again, I'm curious to see how many innings he can throw before he winds up having to, either slow it down or shut it down. So I think as a 4, where he's just going out there and he's going to say, all right, I'll give you 15, 16 starts of around 5 innings to start, is a respectable outcome for your 4.
Right. So, and to follow up, he had, let's see here, just to backtrack, August. Nope, I'm going that way. So in May, he had a 7-day injured list stint. In June, he was activated. In July, he had a 7-day stint. And then he got transferred to the 14-day. And then activated, and then it went on the 60-day in mid-August. So not ideal. For background, he has typically been starting games throughout his career. I wonder. So I look back to his first Tri-City run, and he had over 10 strikeouts per 9 in 76 innings. He had less than a home run per 9. Less than about 7 hits per 9. It looked good. 1.276 whip. So if he can, now he did walk a bunch of guys, so walk 4.4 per 9 innings, but he brought that down a bit in 2025. And I'm not sure how much his arm trouble was, or I don't know if this was arm trouble, could have been anything, but like when you see a guy going that often, you kind of figure, whatever injury it was could have affected his strikeout numbers, because he did go down to 7.5 strikeouts per 9. But if he can bring the strikeouts back up and maintain the control that he gained last year and continue to gain on that, there's a chance maybe he's a, I hate to say this about guys, but maybe a bullpen guy. A lot of guys don't want to make that move from rotations to bullpen because they see it as a cut in their value, which I understand. Yeah. But it's interesting to think about. If you're having trouble staying on the mound, can you give, instead of 11 starts, can you give 30 relief outings with the ability to stretch to 2 innings if needed? I feel like if you're 26, you're on the cut line of like, it's either now or never for getting into affiliated ball here. Mm-hmm. And realistically, it's like, I'm 26. It needs to be double A or higher. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough scene. So I just don't think he'd want to go to like any sort of long relief role or just general relief role. I'm willing to wager you could probably talk him into being a closer, because that still maintains value. And I mean, the strikeout numbers there could be good enough to do it. I mean, if that's the issue, is that the way he's throwing, the intensity of his throwing as what's leading to injuries. And I don't know why he was put on the IL for those stints here. I assume it was an arm thing. If it's the intensity for the reason of it, not having to throw that hard for that many innings should alleviate the concern. Right. Assuming he's able to still throw that hard after whatever he went through. Right. And I mean, he has done he was relieving. He did 6 innings of work in Australia in the offseason. Yeah. But those were 3 relief appearances. And I mean, his first year, he made 12. Open to it. Yeah. And in college, he did primarily relief work. Yeah. And look, maybe, who knows? I wonder how many games he missed then. I wonder if he had more luck then. Though he also had some elevated ERAs. And maybe we're like, maybe we try you in the rotation. Now we're like, maybe we try you in relief. So perhaps this story has been told front to back and now back to front. But it's interesting to see, because there's a lot of potential there. There is the injury issue. There is the question mark of how are we supposed to use you, and can we actually count on you being available? And so that's one but it stuck out for all those reasons. So I was like, well, that's this could go a few different ways here. Other notes I noticed: Southern Maryland picks up Andres Brusino again. 1 earned in 19 innings pitched last season. That's about what he does for the Atlantic League. 192 career Atlantic League innings, 178 ERA, which is equivalent. Quick math is about a 300-ish ERA plus, which is absurd. I think he's had 2 years with sub 1 ERAs in relief. Just gross. Really good to see him. I mean, he was inaffiliated for a time. You don't like to see guys bounce back. He does have a weird wall thing. Every time he goes to AAA, he just gets absolutely pounded. Like a 12 ERA and 39 innings of work with Salt Lake in 2025 is insane, considering he has a 3.8 ERA. Well, hold on, no, I'm sorry. He has a 4.8 ERA in high A, only thrown 4 2/3 innings in double A, and then AAA he's got a over 10 ERA in 54 innings. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense also because Atlantic League hitting is typically double A or near, or slightly above, depending on the roster you're facing. So for the fall off to be that high, you wonder if it's a mental thing at that point. That's so weird. Could be environmental too, where he's pitching at. Yeah, true. I mean, Salt Lake's high altitude. Definitely a part of the problem. He was in Reno before that. That's not any better. Yeah. Say, gotta get this man out of the PCL. Get him in the international league here. Yeah, let him pitch in Syracuse and Buffalo. I wonder if I was a team in the mood, feeling frisky. Yeah, if I was with an East Coast AAA club, I throw him in there. It's weird that they skipped him right from high to AAA too. It's almost like, hold on, let me see. Like he was just feeling, it was a convenience thing, or they just, I don't know, decided he's in his 30s. Like they decided he's sink or swim. So he shouldn't even been AAA. At that point. It's crazy, guys. As many innings as he had in high A. Yeah, I agree. Well, actually, to be fair, those high A innings were when he was in his mid 20s. How crazy is that? So he's getting
But
picked
even
up,
still.
and then he's doing like a minimal stint and then straight in AAA. But I mean, it's just odd. I don't know. It's frustrating. I'm sure he feels the same. I don't know. I would take one more flyer on him if I was an East Coast team to see what happens.
Yeah.
But easier said than done. It's easier for me to spend other people's money, I guess. Easier for them to spend their money. They're rich.
Well, so how much does it cost to buy a contract from the Atlantic League these days?
I'm not going to say a number because I need to double check that. The info I have is about a year old, so I don't want to run too far on that because a lot of that's been flexible, but nothing for what an MLB team has. But everybody acts like it's everything, so I don't know. Then I got two more. Adam Fogel getting picked up by the White Sox. That feels overdue, but that's the problem with putting up numbers in the Pioneer League. Feels a couple thoughts on this just to recap his career numbers thus far in the Pioneer League. I think it's 2 seasons, 168 games. That's 804 plate appearances in that time, 69 homers. Nice. And by the way, recap, that's 168 games. That's 6 more than MLB season and 69 home runs. So that'll do. 388, 480, 778 slash. That's good for a 1.259 OPS. Always good when you can round up your OPS to a 1.3. That is absurd. We'll see. We're going to learn a lot about how this is a rare instance of someone who has just put up such dominant numbers in the Pioneer League, then getting picked up. We're just going to see how that goes on the affiliated side. If I am the Pioneer League, if I am a team, if I am the league, if I'm a player, I am rooting hard for Fogel to put up numbers because the popular understanding is that you can't take Pioneer League numbers seriously, especially gaudy ones. And if he can deliver some of what he has shown, I think that's a big deal, alleviating some of the question mark and making teams more willing to grab guys that aren't from Oakland, essentially, where, you're sea level. And then I got my overlap one here, I think with you, is Jacob Teeter. And the thing that jumped out to me, 1, he's going to York. 2, he's not going to Chicago. And he's been there for the past, 2 years? Since he got an indie ball. He's been there.
And he was doing very well there, too.
Yep. He's played all but one game, by the way. He did well. Definitely, okay, so I'll give you the total once I'm going to kick, once I'm done numbers, I'll kick back your way. His career in 199 American Association games, a 307, 420, 542 slash with 41 homers and a 962 OPS. That's good for if you're doing the math at home. It's hard to not note the fact that he basically did that damage year one when he hit 349, 474, 673. Last year he had a 785 OPS, with his average falling 84 points to a 267. Lost a lot of that power. Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. Same number of play appearances, so it's nice and convenient for comparisons. 13 home runs compared to 28 the season before. A lot of other things could be affecting that, but it is noteworthy. The projections do have him right around the same numbers this year as last year. Projections have him as about an 800 OPS guy with York, benefiting slightly from the weirdly shaped field. Got some alleyways to hit the ball into, got some short porches to hit the ball out of. So I think it will help him a bit, but yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that comes over and how he bounces back from a slow second season.
He does feel like more of an Atlantic League player, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I'm curious to see how that transition goes, especially into a tougher North Division. At least historically, it's been tougher.
I'm a little surprised this didn't happen sooner, if I'm honest. We've known for a minute he wasn't having a good time in Chicago. He was pretty vocal. So I'm a little surprised that's.
It does kind of feel like, hey, I'm going to hang out here still because I have the contract with the option, because they're still doing the option contract, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, that's why he's there then. So he kicks around there.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting, though, because, and part of the reason I do think maybe he didn't come over is because first base is typically a pretty well taken care of position in the Atlantic League, and same with DH. Yeah. And that sort of eats up what he's bringing positionally. And York, the interesting thing is, I don't know what this does to Frankie Tostado. Frankie Tostado, who had a 950 OPS last year, he had a great year, 337, 376, 575 year. So I'm definitely interested to see what, how this is going to affect the arrangement for York's lineup. I'm trying to see. It's on me. I'm forgetting. I just threw out a whole stack of score sheets from last year, and I could quick reference who was DHing a lot. Let me see, because I'm just curious to see remind myself what their DH situation is, see if that is a more practical solution to what we're dealing with here. I don't believe so. Let's see. Kyle Martin, but I think he was not always the guy.
No. He was.
Guy. I think it was sort of a revolving door, if I remember right. I know Mason Walker made some appearances as a DH. So I don't think there was a solid throughout the year DH is what I want to say. Could be off, but that is at least how my memory serves me on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through here, and it does seem like they have a lot
Higgins,
of guys.
DH, yeah. I think it was just their go-to day off spot for a lot of the outfielders and infielders. I know Higgins had a few. I think DH could be an option, and it'll be interesting to see now if they can bring back Frankie and Jacob Teeter. That's a hell of an addition to a already championship team.
I only have two guys here, so I'm not sure if you have anything else to throw in.
You brought more last time. So I'm glad I could bring more this time.
Okay, it levels itself out. So don't really have too much on both of these guys here, but they're both familiar names. Giacomo. Giacomo. I could go with
Italian here.
Well, either way, he's going to get cut from Chicago early on because I don't love what I see with this guy. And it pains me because I normally support Duke players a lot. Even though he's more an LSU guy than a Duke guy, but even still, he was good there. He looked really good in Missoula for 2.5 years. Then a pretty pedestrian year in Evansville. Then he comes out of nowhere with more power than he's had his whole career last year in Southern Maryland. No real hitting for averages, which is what I think he did for a while. So I assume it was a change in the approach to the plate there. And now he's kind of backed off. The fact that he's still going to be 25, 26 this year and playing center field is really what's interesting here. The bat, I don't love what I expect this transition to be. You're the projection guy, so I don't know what he projects to be, but I just feel like we're going to get more, less of the power we saw in Southern Maryland, but more of that contact numbers. I'm very skeptical on it here. I think he has the potential to jump up, but I don't know. It feels like an odd fit here if this is the guy you're betting on for an everyday center fielder. I feel like there's a better option out there.
Could be. What's the positional sort of flexibility look like? Do you have that?
Center field.
Sort of, that's it. Interesting.
He can do other outfields.
By the way, confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he had a big walk-off in a regional game for the NCAA tournament.
Good for him.
Anyway. Yep.
But yeah, no, he's an outfielder, primarily center field.
Interesting. Yeah, that is an interesting picture, first of all.
I mean, if he can, I'll put it like this, if he could just get on base more and he's a good fielder, then it's worthwhile. You throw him in the 9 hole and it's fine. But I don't know. It just feels like a bit of an underwhelming one that on the surface feels a lot better. It kind of reminds me of Ty Reed, where you see the name, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. And then you start looking at it, you start thinking okay, where's he going to fit in here? And you start going, he has to fill this niche. And if he doesn't, I don't know what the deal is. It really feels like to me, he's following Stan over there. and Stan likes him, so we're gonna see what happens.
Right. I'm trying to get a feel if there's any like real trend line here. Him going from that I mean, he seems to have improved 2024 to 2025, which is what you want. He improved 2023 to 2024. He is getting better. So that's interesting. And that's where
yes
I'm open
and no.
to this.
I feel like it's again a change in the approach to plate, and like hasn't this always been the thing for Southern Maryland is it's not a contact ballpark, but if you can get some power on things, you'll be fine. I feel like that's kind of the thing. Like David Harris was like that, going way back. Dean Green was kind of like that. Who were some of the other guys there that were like surprising? Like, oh wow, he's in for power, and oh okay, nothing else there. I feel like there's always one guy per year like that. I just can't happen upon any of the other ones right this second. Now that I need it, which is always how it goes.
I am really concerned about that strikeout rate. I don't know, because you're right in the way. Where I disagree with you is seeing him as like a 9 hitter. I don't necessarily get that. I don't
believe in the power being there. I think this is last year's a mirage. I don't know how you go from hitting like between none and 5 home runs your whole career, including college up to now, and then hitting 14 in one shot.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the strikeout rate going up, but the strikeout rate I don't think has gone up. Now, it actually has stayed almost identical. That's the problem. It's a deep dive thing. I might have to like go and compare swings, but it seems to me I don't know. It's possible that this is sustainable, if I'm honest with you. I'm seeing limited stuff to convince me otherwise.
I mean, like, if you want to kind of semi-comp here, I look at a guy like a Sam Dexter, who's kind of had a similar mold hitter-wise. Not one for one, but similar. And Sam hit 15 in Southern Maryland last year. Professionally speaking, since he started as a pro in 18 in indie ball, the most he's hit in the season was in 22 in Fargo, and that was 9 in 15 fewer games.
Okay.
And only 32 fewer at bats. So I don't think he's hitting 6 and 32. That's a hell of a pace for a guy like that to hit that many. Keep in mind, that's a career high for him was 9. He had 8 the year before, 7 the year after.
Okay.
So I kind of see it playing like that. I see him going back to more like that. Oh, he's going to hit 3 home runs and have to hit for average. But if he's not going to make that adjustment, then, what's the point of it?
Right. I'm just sort of making some comparisons here. Let's see.
Also, again, digging through Southern Maryland seasons, it does seem to be that's how this goes. Because last year, 24, you had Aaron Hill hitting 20. Another guy that's not really a power guy. Brancato hit 29. You go back to 23. You get guys that hit a pair of 17 in Quarez and Hobson. Also, Jimmy Terry going to drop off there. That's a dude I really thought was going to do better in the Atlantic League. Whatever he's up to. Yeah, you go back to 22, kind of the same boat. 23 from David Harris. That year we mentioned him. Was the 23 year from him? No, that was 16 that year. But 17 from Jared Walker. So they do seem to have a couple high teen guys each year. And that's where the offense comes from. They don't really do average hitters. 22 from Josh McAdams the year before that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as cold on this. I think he's probably not likely to put up the same numbers, but I'm not sure that this was like a mirage necessarily. Kind of an opposite field guy. How strange. I didn't really pick up on that watching him. I don't know. I could see him not taking advantage of the parts of the Chicago's ballpark that he should probably be taking advantage of, like home run wise. But I don't know. I think this is fine. I think, if I'm honest, I'm not sure that he fit into the budgeting room that Southern Maryland had for kind of the way they're trying to revamp this. And it makes sense. Chicago's known for kind of getting some people paid, and it makes sense that it would fit what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But that's my take on the matter.
All right. Just moving on to the final guy then. Edwin Garcia going to Lincoln. That's a familiar name for long time indie ball people because he was in Southern Maryland for a little bit. Now 35 years old, middle infielder. He's been in Mexico the last few years, but between Mexico and Southern Maryland, about a 300 hitter, 299. Not really much in the way of power, 7 home runs, 247 games played there. I just find it a little bit interesting they're getting a 35-year-old middle infielder to come in.
Who hasn't played in America since pre-COVID.
Yeah, so like it just, especially for this time frame to go get another foreign-born player and spend a visa on this. I don't know what the long-term plan here is. From an organization I wasn't really expecting to spend money. This just feels like the odd guy to spend the visa on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially a Venezuelan visa, which can't be easy.
Yeah.
Look, by the way, Edwin Garcia feels like a strong candidate to not show up to camp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the level of familiarity he has with the Mexican League, the number of other connections he has, the difficulty of a Venezuelan visa right now, I would not be surprised to not see him. That said, it is odd, isn't it? Lincoln, and maybe next week we'll talk more about Lincoln, because Lincoln's been making some weird choices, my guy. And in a way where I'm kind of like, yes, okay over there.
I think the answer is they're not okay and have not been okay for a while.
Not okay.
But they have the All-Star game.
They're definitely in danger. I think Gary might get them. So
Gary's going to get them. I'll take it a step further. I like Dragum. I think Cam Phelps will do better this next year. Garcia, more on the point here. I think he can still be a productive bat. What he is in the field is what he is in the field. I don't think he's going to give you any power, but I mean, hey, if you're just committing to contact, go for it. Why not? And like in theory, if you could just get one guy that you're like, yeah, I just want you to sit here and mash. Just swing for the fence every time you're up. I don't care if you hit 190. I don't care if you get on base at like a 280 clip. I do not care. I care about what you slug. That's all I care about. Because I need you to drop runs and get us jackpots when we're in that situation. Then maybe you could make an argument they stay out of the basement. But like, I don't know in that division who you are as of right now better than. Because I firmly believe Gary's in the upswing. Maybe this is my Charlie Brown in the football, and they're going to pull it on me.
I've not liked Gary's signings either, and I'm still saying I think Lincoln is lagging behind them.
Well, yeah, because like Gary has a couple guys. I'm like, okay, like they got Olivero back, which I think's nice. Swayze's nice. Who are some of the other ones they brought back that I liked? I know there's one decent signing they got a couple weeks ago that I saw that I really did like.
Just left their transactions page. So one sec.
Yeah, I'm pulling it too. Andres Diaz, I do like too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's still got something, although he's kind of came to the point. Elvis Peralta, that was the name I was thinking of. Peralta's obviously like a must-have. If you didn't get him back, you would have really been in a problem spot. Basalba, I think, has some games in him. Yeah. Peyton Long, I like coming back there. LG Castillo could be something. Jake Gunther could be some speed.
I've always found LG Castillo would be interesting, so I'm glad to see him.
He kind of goes back and forth on me. Like,
right.
Like there's moments where I'm like, he's going to be good. And then it's like, it's not happening. But it should happen, but it's not. Cooper Edwards is back.
There's a way that could go well, but we don't need to go super in depth.
No, we don't got to go through piece by piece here. Yeah. Jay Cooper now converted to being a pitcher too. Two-way player. Let's get it. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like I see the vision with Gary, and like the I-beam hiring. That was kind of like the coin flip one. It's like they weren't like lighting the world on fire, but they were playing 500 ball. I can go back to my notes to find the actual record that they finished with, but like there was a notable uptick when he got there. Even
and the energy was better too.
That was the other thing. The vibes changed, and I was like, okay. And the biggest piece was the kind of play you're replacing the holes in your roster with was different. And I think that was the big thing. Right.
Now, Peyton Long, by the way, was the other guy I want to point out. Peyton Long is a good one coming back. He looked good last year, 823 innings as well. I worry. I mean, we don't need to go in depth again. I still worry that they are bringing back certain guys where I'm like, I don't know if they have any business coming back. Now, that might be just because you hold the spot while you look for the replacement. I don't love that way of doing it, but that might be what they're doing. There's a couple ones there where I'm just like, hey, I don't think that's a long-term solution here, boys. The one that really stands out, I mean, their catcher position is just a whole thing. That's a can of worms there. You don't believe in
Cooper Edwards?
And they got a Cuban kid who his offense isn't. The moment he ended up outside Cuba, he's hitting below the Mendoza. So that's not what you want to see, but that's. I don't know. Scout Knotts is interesting though, so that's another one. Sorry, we don't need to do an in-depth thing into Gary, but for comparison, there's at least more interesting people like Gary have signed compared to Lincoln right now, and that's why we're worried about Lincoln.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, even just as a whole, to get to the Lincoln point, to wrap it on that, I don't see a team that I really can confidently say it's better, or that they are better than. I also look that the East Division is like still what we saw from them last year, a bit of a weaker division. Cleveland's whatever they're going to wind up being. Chicago's going to be something. They're curious. I can see them going either way. Kane County's starting to bring their guys back. We know the deal over there. They like to give their guys the chance to get signed without having to pay a big fee. So very pro player on that front. And then when we start getting into, March, and so they bring back their guys when it's like, hey, buddy, didn't work out in spring training, did it? Guess what? You're back in Kane County. They're that. Lake Country's always like making.
Because at the end of the night, when it doesn't work out and you don't even want to go home with, there's always a cougar somewhere.
Great, Paul.
Thank you.
I love that for you. And then there's the two Wisconsin teams where they're very much mood based, not even vibe based. They're mood based. They have to decide that they're going to be putting something together or not. And we're curious on some behind the scene dealings there. But on the flip side, in the actual division that Lincoln's in, Fargo's going to be better than them. Kansas City, I need more time on them before I can call it one way or the other there. I would presume that Sioux City will retain some of their guys and still look decent. They ship a lot of their guys over to Milwaukee, which those guys still have to be signed, by the way. Weatherby did not sign yet, and the other one didn't sign yet either. So Jerome got to get that sorted out here. I imagine it's something like foreign opportunities or affiliate opportunities, and then they'll sign later on, but we'll see with that. Sioux Falls needs to get a little bit busy, but I'm not overly concerned there. And Winnipeg, I need a little bit more from them too, but they're starting to piece them together. At least, again, with all of these teams, I guess the main point here is there's one or two guys where I'm like, oh, good player. And generally it's like, I see the overall vision you're trying to go for, even if I don't agree with it. Lincoln, it's just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think they know.
That's kind of the talking ball segment for the week.
Yes, sir.
That's fun to talk ball.
Yeah, man. Feels good.
We're going to try to get
getting a little jaded on some of the business things, so I need to get a little bit of more time looking at on-field stuff.
All righty. So, you want to do some plugs and then get out of here?
Sure. Indie Ball Nation on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, podcast platforms have a couple things coming. I also finally will have part 2 of the sort of Frontier League tryout series I'm doing. Took a little more editing on that one. I was a little surprised, but once you get snowed in, you have to get real creative with content on something like this. So it took a little while, but we're getting there. And I'm told the snow will melt someday. I don't know. I'm dead inside. So that's what I got.
Nice. Is episode 3 going to be where you tear your UCL?
We'll see, man. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's going to be great.
I'm rooting for content. So whatever that is, I'm rooting for that.
It's just me having a terrible time this tryout and then standing in the middle of the batting cage like Happy Gilmore saying 364 more days till baseball tryouts.
And Any Ball Pod on Twitter, Any Ball Report everywhere else. Yeah, that's all I got for that. Yeah, that's the show for the week. We're going to be formulating a plan for the rest of the offseason shortly, and you guys will know it when it's done. But until then, don't forget to play ball.